So, hello and welcome to another episode of the Turn 5 podcast. And once again, it's just me and Ben. Nia says she's EP. Mel is currently crashing out about not getting a record on Record Store Day. And Chris is at work. So, it's just me and Ben. And we'll bring you all of our thoughts on the Formula 1 action. I'll give you a brief overview of the F2 and the F3, and then we'll give you our predictions ahead of this weekend's Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Yeah. Hey, it's the last of a triple header. We got a little break after this. Emphasis on little. But it is, it's Saudi
Jeddah, but get it out of the way.
Yeah. At least it's early in the season and we can forget about it by the time we get to do our season recaps.
And then you realise we got Miami coming up.
Oh, fuck. Anyway, right. I won't lie, I didn't watch any of practice.
I never watch practice.
Like, especially on a circuit like Bahrain, where they've done pre-season testing for so many years. Like, they know Bahrain. They know the data. They're good.
Like the youngsters got in.
Yeah, exactly. There was like, what, 6?
I got done Friday morning. Because someone said that Verstappen was out for the Bahrain Grand Prix. I was like, what the fuck? And then, because he was obviously out for practice one.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, there was like 6 of them in or something. I mean, obviously that's going to be one of the tracks they do it. Because it's the one they've got the most data on, so they don't really need the setup. So,
and the fact they were there like a month ago.
Yeah, exactly. So, we'll just move straight into quali. It was all right. It was sort of what you'd expect, I'd say, at the bottom. You know, Lance Stroll. The kicks.
Yeah. Back to back. Well,
Liam Lawson out again.
Well, Hulkenberg.
I'd say the only real shock is that Alex Albon finished 15th.
Yeah, but that's because Hulkenberg got a lap time deleted after the fucking session was done, so he didn't get through.
That's so harsh. So he got knocked out and then they deleted it after the fact?
Yeah.
Wow. FIA needs to take a long, hard look at themselves. That's unbelievable. Then Ocon crashed out in the second part of quali. Then it's sort of more of the rest of the usual crew. An Alpine, Hadjar, the other Aston Martin, and then Yuki made it into the top 10 for the first time. So, progress.
He was fairly close to Verstappen all weekend, though, to be fair.
He was, yeah. He was always like 1 or 2 places behind him.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even that much of a gap either. It was a couple of tenths, maybe 3 tenths. Which is sort of what you want, really. So quali was Piastri on pole position once again. He's become a bit of a machine, has that kid.
Piastri dominance is getting boring.
Yeah. As a Norris fan, I'm sweating right now. But yeah, the Ferraris had mixed success with Leclerc in 3rd and Hamilton in 9th. And then Norris only qualifying 6th behind both Mercedes and Pierre Gasly in an Alpine.
Yeah, he put in an absolute stonker over that.
That was probably, in my opinion, the lap of qualifying. Because that Alpine has no right to be up there.
No right to start 4th.
Yeah. So, yeah, of course, afterwards there were grid penalties for both the Mercedes drivers because the They were sent into the fast lane of the pit lane before a session restart time had been announced following Esteban Ocon's crash in Q2. So they were given a 1-place grid penalty each, which demoted George to 3rd and Kimi Antonelli to 5th. So, yeah. It's great. The official line is for failing to follow race director's instructions, but it's because they were sent out too soon, basically. You're not allowed to just sit in the fast lane and wait.
Right, you can, it's just that you get dropped one spot.
Well, yeah. I think some people might take that in the future, you know, especially if there's not a lot of time left on the clock, to guarantee yourself the first run out of the pits. 1 place isn't that bad.
Do it at Monaco and park the fucking bus the old warm up that. Just make sure you're the only one to cross the line.
Yeah. Nice. Only one to set a time, and it's a 6-minute 12.
And then get held up in traffic at the end of your lap.
Fucking hell. Yeah, then onto the race. It was, I mean, the start was pretty clean, to be honest.
Wow.
I mean,
if you actually keep it in your grid box and don't.
Okay, yeah. I don't know why he kept rolling forward. He said afterwards he thought he was still in, but like, man, that yellow line was so far back alongside your car, you were practically like able to reach out and touch it.
Sound of it. If it means that he goes forward, sound, take the 5-second penalty. Better than take him 10 back like he did last year.
Yeah, but yeah, also snitch culture going strong in F1.
Yep.
Love to see that. Yeah. Max snitching straight away. He's not in his grid box. Unbelievable scenes. Yeah, then it's sort of Lando actually had a good first lap. He got up to 3rd in the opening few corners
from 4-5 corners.
Yeah, so that's the lap 1 Lando we need to see. Not let's tank the positions.
Yeah.
So, then we had all sorts of like, it all got a bit argy bargy, didn't it? In the midfield.
Right. Yeah.
Particularly one Liam Lawson.
Yeah, and Carlos Sainz. Poor Kimi Antonelli. Getting fucking sent.
Oh, God. So Sainz retired because he had a ruddy great hole in the side of his car.
That's Yuki's fault.
Yeah.
That's Yuki hit him twice as well. It's not even once.
And on the notes, I haven't seen a thing that says Yuki has a penalty.
No, he didn't. He didn't get a penalty at all.
What the hell? So the Red Bull FIA assistance is going strong, and the Mafia is back because George Russell didn't get a penalty post-race.
But he did give the time back. He gave us more time. So.
It's not the point. The point is, he did what he wasn't supposed to do.
What I want to know is how the fuck has he put on DRS and he's only gained
0.02
of a tenth? What is going on?
How do you only gain 0.02 of a second?
Yeah.
How quick do you have to close that again? So weird. Anyway, we'll get on to George's car disintegrating around him. I've got notes at the bottom here.
Red Bull had their fucking pissed off.
Oh my god, yes. Red Bull's red lights. Somebody clearly forgot to change the bulb to a green one. But that's the thing, that's an automated system from the wheel guns, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, once the wheel guns say that the wheel's tight, the light goes green so the driver can go. But they just didn't.
I bet how Red Bull were the only team with that issue.
Yeah, but did you see you see when, so after Max had his shit pit stop, when Yuki came in, there was a guy to the side of the front of the car with a manual board.
The same.
And even his didn't go green.
Yeah. He sort of stepped out of the way.
Yeah. I fucking loved it. It still said red, but they just went. Yeah, so I've got notes on the bottom here that say Lawson received a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision and a 10-second time penalty for causing a collision. Doohan received a 5-second time penalty for track limit infringements, and Hulkenberg was disqualified for a technical infringement. I believe that was his skid block.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, having watched the race and seen the amount of sparks coming off the bottom of those cars, I'm not really that surprised. Everyone seemed to be running them to within an inch of their life, and apparently Hulkenberg's was a little bit of an inch too far. So, I mean, it's not the first time we've seen it this season. It's not the last time we'll see it in the sport, I'm sure. But it is quite funny that we've had it, like, what, twice in 3 rounds?
Still get disqualified.
For skid blocks.
So was it China?
Yeah. China was, it was Lewis's skid block. Because Gasly and Leclerc were underweight.
Yeah.
And now we've got Hulkenberg for another skid block.
Nice. Who's next?
So we've had both Ferraris, an Alpine, and a kick. I think Haas are due a disqualification now, right?
Wow.
Esteban. Hate watch going strong. Oh. Yeah, all got a bit feisty in the midfield. Carlos eventually retired the car in 45 after being torpedoed by Yuki. How you can get away with that and not get a penalty, wild. But then again, we saw the same thing with George Russell getting away with it when he torpedoed Max in Baku and left a massive hole in the side of that Red Bull. So, guess they took the same thing.
Is it Baku? The stewards weren't handing out 5-second penalties just for going wheel to wheel.
True, very true. But it was a good race. There was plenty of overtaking going on.
Yeah, I'd like to see Lando's overtake on Lewis again.
Yeah.
I feel like it must have been close.
He was off. Having seen it from the offboard of the car, he was probably maybe an inch or two just beyond the.
Whenever that happens,
I'm
still like, just get down the road, just take the 5 seconds.
He lost a lot of time giving that position back. Yeah. So, but yeah, unfortunate. But equally, Lando's racecraft was not the best this weekend. Kid had no patience.
No.
Especially when it came to like the last lap and trying to send George around the outside of 1. No.
Yeah.
If you're being shown the outside at 1, that is okay, I'm just gonna get an exit and focus on 4.
Yeah.
Not let's try and hang it out, because George did what everyone does, and that's just show you the fucking exit curve.
Yeah.
You know? It's the most predictable move in all of motorsport.
Well.
It's not exclusive to Formula 1. It's not even exclusive to open wheel racing. It's just general motorsport maneuver of, oh, you're trying to go around the outside? Get to fuck. So, yeah, good fun.
I'd say it's exclusive to touring cars, but that's like the Yuki Tsunoda on Carlos side.
I was going to say, touring cars, there's definitely the rubbing is racing mentality in touring cars. But that's the sort of category where you see bumpers hanging off, but people still going around at 100 miles an hour.
Still getting quicker. Nice.
They're going quicker because they've lost the downforce.
Yeah. It's like Charles Leclerc's Ferrari.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's have a Ferrari and it's not the quickest Ferrari.
But yeah, a better weekend for Ferrari, I suppose. 4th and 5th, no disqualifications. Can't really complain about that. They did really well with their strategy call, actually. To leave them out
they nicked
longer
it.
at the first stint was something I wasn't sure on. But then, having seen them make the way through the field post pit stop, inspired choice.
Well, it's a treat. Charlie was trying to get a one stop.
Yeah,
Thankfully, Ferrari didn't listen.
yeah, and like full credit to the strategy team for just being like, yeah, nah, just do this, lad.
Yeah,
because they could clearly see what Charles couldn't. You know, and that's
yeah, and you,
it's understandable from Charles's perspective. You know, you've got limited data. You're thinking, I'm feeling good on this tire. Let's try and go for it. But maybe the team are thinking, nah, last time we tried a one stop, you were underweight, kid. So,
maybe
a little bit of the China panic came in there.
the only slight thing you might change with it is changing the hard to the soft at the end. Seeing that George.
Yeah, the hard was not the one
sound,
to be on. The hard just didn't seem to be a good race tyre this week. No. Which is interesting considering everyone thought the soft was going to be mid at best. Like, it was going to be a case of you can chuck it on for a few laps, like 10 to 15, and it'll do all right, but then it'll start to fall off. And George got his, like, what, 24?
Yeah, 24, 23 laps.
Something like that. So, and I think those weren't new softs either. I think they had already had a couple of laps through them. So, yeah, impressive to be able to hang on to second there.
Tyre whisperer, George Russell.
Yeah, especially considering, okay, well, I mean, we might as well cover it off now. The fact that his electronic systems were fully shitting the bed.
Everyone's DRS was like, nah, we're not gonna
right,
work.
So I was in bed watching this, right, because I woke up early for it.
Oh my god.
And I rolled over and I was just listening to the commentary, and actually, no, I'd gone downstairs and I mopped the kitchen floor, and I come back up and George is in 20th, and I'm like... I'm going to just rewind this a little bit.
Yeah.
Because, like, there'd been a safety car, and I was like, oh, okay, let me rewind and see what that was. I saw no incident that involved the safety car. I guess it was the debris from Sainz.
It was debris from Sainz.
Yeah.
Must have been.
But then there was, like, it was just George driving along, and then suddenly just dunk, 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 down the order. And I'm thinking, what was that? I was expecting the safety car to be for George. And then when the safety car wasn't for George, I was expecting on the restart, George to get absolutely sent. And nothing happened. And I was kind of like, well, I just wasted 20 minutes rewinding that. So, yeah, dodgy transponder issue.
Transponder's going mad.
So, which it led to an interesting series of events by virtue of the fact that everyone knows he's on track, but the electronic systems don't know exactly where he is, so he can't activate his DRS. I mean, he was 8 seconds behind Piastri anyway, so he wasn't going to be within DRS range.
Yeah.
But it was more for the fact that when Norris caught up to him, Norris's system couldn't identify that there was a car less than a second up the road. So Norris had to manually override the DRS system. And Will Joseph, his race engineer, came on and said, make sure we use it when we're 100% sure we're within a second. Which, to be fair, from when we saw that, when we heard that come up on the screen, he was definitely within a second. I think it was probably about 0.6 back. But it's just funny that one driver's issues causes issues throughout the field.
Well, that's the little map tracker. You can see George Russell's name just so far to the bottom right.
Yeah, so it's an interesting one to go out, but it wasn't like the only issues that George had. So I guess there was some other issue within the car itself.
I was waiting for a power cut to happen.
Yeah, especially when they said that you may lose the dash but just keep driving normally. How the fuck do you do that if you want to change your brake bias?
You don't even know what gear you're in either.
Well, exactly,
You
yeah.
just have to guess.
That's mad. I mean, at their level, you probably know just from how fast you're going.
Probably instinct, yeah.
Yeah. But at the same time,
obviously,
like
going down the back straight, you know, you're in 8th or whatever.
Yeah.
First turn, you need 2nd.
So you just pull it until you slow down enough, right?
I'm in neutral.
Shit! Shit!
Just start reversing.
So, yeah, I don't think he ever actually did lose his dashboard in the end, but it was interesting that the mechanics were, like, ready for it, you know? They forewarned him, like, this might happen. This is a possible scenario. Which, to be fair, probably wise to advise him in advance, given that if that went off, you'd probably be inclined to just fucking pull over.
Yeah, the radio. My dash is gone. What the fuck?
It's off. No, it's not, George. Keep going. So, yeah. But like even like a second or two of hesitation at that point probably could have cost him second place. So good to forewarn him. So well done for Mercedes on that one. To be honest, that was probably most of like the drama at the front of the field, wasn't it?
Piastri
just checked out.
Sunday drive.
Yeah.
Sound alright.
Yeah. Got very lucky with the timing of that safety car because he was just coming around the last corner. So just immediately pulled into the pits.
We had Verstappen at one point, BP20.
Actually, that's a point. Max Verstappen getting a black and white flag for track limits because he couldn't get past Pierre Gasly. Iconic driving from Gasly there. Well deserved points for Alpine as well. So, right, let's cover off our prediction results then. Obviously, Piastri got pole, and the podium was Piastri, Russell, and Norris. Which means that in last place is Mel, because Mel didn't even submit predictions last week.
Nice, she's that far ahead, she doesn't need to.
Well, you say that. In joint last place of the scorers is Chris, myself, and Nia, who all scored 2 points for basically just putting Norris and Russell in the wrong places on the podium. Or, sorry, Norris and Piastri in some cases. Then Ben, you finished second with 4 points. And Sonia finished first on 5.
How did I get 4? I thought I put...
You put Norris third.
Oh, sweet. I thought I put Piastri third.
No, you put Piastri second and Norris third. So you got 1 point for Piastri out of position and 3 points for Norris correct position. Sonia got pole position point, Piastri correct position, and Norris out of position. So she got you there, which means the standings are Nia on 5, myself and Chris on 10, Ben, you're on 16, Sonia is on 18, and Mel is on 19. And Mel has not submitted predictions for this week yet either. And in my position, I am not going to remind. Ben's like, fuck it.
Whatever.
Bold predictions. Nobody got theirs this week. Ben, you said Carlos Sainz points.
Yeah.
The only point he had was a point of contact. Chris said Tsunoda and Lawson would make contact. I don't think Lawson hit Tsunoda.
No.
As much as he tried. He was hitting everyone else.
Had contact with another driver.
But not together, yeah. No. Nia's had an absolute stinker. She said no points for Piastri.
Yeah, so that's why he's winning one. Cheers, Nia.
Yeah.
Well done.
And I said Lawson and Tsunoda would share the same grid row again, and they didn't. Lapdown Showdown was a bust. Nobody got lapped down thanks to the mid-race safety car. which brings us on to Formula 2, I guess. We'll do F2 and F3 before that. Sprint race, well, quali was Leonardo Fornaroli on pole once again, ahead of Victor Martins and Luke Browning. The sprint race was interesting, with Joshua Dirksen being disqualified for a technical breach. The diffuser strake 1 was lower than the minimum specified height by 2 millimeters, so Dirksen was disqualified. And I think he was third when he crossed the line, actually, which promoted Dino Beganovic onto the podium. And Dunn was called to the steward's office after an incident with Miata, and he was given a 5-second time penalty. So it drops him from 18th to 19th. So, nothing major there. And Dunn had also been assigned another 5-second time penalty for breaching safety car delta requirements during safety car period 2. So, and he got given the standard 5-second time penalty for that offence. So your podium for the sprint race was Pepe Marti ahead of Richard Verschoor and then Dino Beganovic in third once penalties had been applied. And then the feature race was Formula 2's 200th race since it became known as Formula 2. And history was made with Alex Dunn taking the win. I believe it's the first Irishman to take a win. Which is, it's good to see. It's nice to see we've actually got Irish drivers coming through, because like the last one that anyone's ever really heard of was Eddie Jordan, but he never made it that far because of his injuries. So it's good to see we've almost got someone all the way up. And he's a McLaren Junior, which means he's not going to get a seat.
Wrecking few years.
Enjoy IndyCar, bud.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It was great. The feature race was Alex Dunn ahead of Luke Browning and ahead of Leonardo Fornaroli. The standings, therefore, Fornaroli continuing his I'm not winning, but I'm winning. He's yet to win a race, and yet he is still on top of the standings. He's on 26 points, with Alex Dunn behind him on 25.
He's just won the Bahrain feature.
And second place already, yeah. And then Luke Browning in third, also on 25 points. I would be really interested to see if Fornaroli can win the Formula 2 championship without winning a race.
100% he can.
But can he do it back to back with the year that he won the F3 championship without winning a race? That would probably be the most iconic way.
I
don't need to win races. I just need to score points and I'll win the championship.
Yeah.
Wild. So, yeah, I mean, he's on his way. Podiums are what you need for that, and he's getting them.
Get a top 3 in feature, or a top 4, and then just like top 5 or something in the sprint. You sound.
And then on to Formula 3, because they were with us as well this weekend. Uga Chukwu was given a 5-place grid penalty for causing a collision with his teammate Brando Badur during the sprint race. Following the race, stewards examined video evidence, and during the hearing, Uga Chukwu took full responsibility for the incident. Damn. It gave him a 10-second time penalty, but as the driver was not classified, it gets converted to a grid drop. Dominguez was also given a 5-place grid penalty for causing a collision with Joshua Dufek. And yeah, same thing, not classified, converted to a grid drop. So, quali, Rafael Kamara ahead of Voisin, ahead of Wirtz. The sprint race, we had a new driver in this weekend as well, actually, in the form of Freddie Slater. And boy, did he hit the ground running. He led laps on his first race. So, fair play to him. He did, however, have a weekend of two halves. Freddie Slater managed to finish second in his first race in Formula 3. I believe he's taken over from Nikita Bedrin in the AIX car. Nikola Solov won ahead of Slater, ahead of Tappanen. And then in the feature race, unfortunately, Slater had to retire the car, which was unfortunate for him. He was the first retiree from the feature race. But the feature race was won by Rafael Kamara, ahead of Callum Voisin, ahead of Timo Tramnitz. And that leaves the standings. Also, Kamara has done back-to-back feature race with pole with fastest lap. So he's bossing it out the front at the minute. Rafael Kamara leads on 56 points. Tramnitz is in second on 30, and Voisin is in third on 27. But it should be said that Noah Stromstead in fourth is also on 27 points. So yeah, it's
so
Kamara
one of them
show.
Win by not winning a race at all,
and the other one is just going to win in the features. Yeah.
Oh.
I love the fact that there's no points in the sprints either, which means he's not progressing from 10th. Wait, no, they reversed the top 12. Not progressing from 12th into the points. So
time and effort. Just start on pole and finish first.
Yeah. Mad. Brilliant, but mad. So Formula 3 next joins us when we travel to Imola. F2 joins us next time out in Saudi Arabia, and we are also joined by the F1 Academy in Saudi Arabia. Speaking of Saudi Arabia, let's go through some predictions, shall we? Ben, pole position.
Lando Norris.
Oh, okay. Nia has gone for George Russell. Myself and Sonia have gone for Oscar Piastri.
Nice, good. I was hoping that because he's had such a honker of this weekend, Lando, that people would jump off the Lando Norris bandwagon. So I'm not the jinx.
Right, okay. See, I'm hopping on the Piastri bandwagon because I've not been on it and it's been costing me points. So yeah, firmly on it. Podium. Nia has gone for Norris, Russell, Piastri. Ben, what have you got?
I have gone for Norris, Piastri, Russell.
And myself and Sonia have both gone for Piastri, Norris, Russell. Bold prediction. Nia has said that Tsunoda will beat Verstappen.
Right.
I mean, it's bold.
Well, get ready for the Verstappen Grand Slam because I want to say Verstappen outside the top 5 again.
Oh god, okay. What shall I go for? I mean, he's in a Haas. I'm going to go for Behrman points, plural. So 9th or better. Behrman points proceeds to pick up 2 penalty points.
That counts.
It's still points.
It's still points. It didn't specify.
Yeah, literally all I've written is points.
Yeah, that's fine.
So
if he does get penalty points,
I'm taking it.
I'm gonna take it.
Cool.
That's accepted.
Excellent news. And I now have this on recording, so no doubt. Right, there are 50 laps of the Jeddah Corniche circuit. Who's getting lapped first, Ben?
I'm being boring and saying no one.
Oh, you're going for a blank. Okay.
I'm going for another mid-race safety car.
Okay. Nia has said Jack Doohan on lap 27 and one. I feel like 27 is becoming her new. Oh no, 24 the last two rounds. 27 in China, that was it. So.
What did it used to be?
25. It used to be 25. Driver 25, 2 laps down.
Yeah.
So I am going to go for. Part of me wants to say Lance Stroll. Most of me doesn't believe he'll last long enough to get lapped.
Yeah, but then, what is he, like 18th and 17th past 2 races?
Yeah, but I think he's just going to crash. I'm going to say Lance Stroll is first going to get lapped on lap 18, but he's going to DNF. And then if Chris and Mel submit theirs, we will add them in.
Oh, so it was stoned at 20th, actually.
No,
it was 20th and then 17th because of 2 DNFs and Gabriel Bortoleto.
Lol. Okay, well, it's time to start hating on Lance Stroll.
Stroll hate is back.
Let's come back with a vengeance. Right, I think that about wraps it up for this week.
To be fair, Stroll did last like 2 race weekends, so
yeah, but that's not round Jeddah, is it? Like, think about the last 2 times you've been to Jeddah.
When
it's not ended well.
Crashed in the race. In the race.
Can you bring it back? I'm in the fucking wall.
To be fair, since then he did purposely drive into a gravel trap.
Yeah.
So he's not gained any brain cells.
No. So, right. I think that's about us for this week. Join us again next time where we'll go through all of the F1 action as well as the F2 and the F1 Academy from Saudi Arabia. Until then, thank you for listening and or watching, and goodbye.